Gender stereotypes are created by society. These include the sexist idea that women should stay at home and keep house and men should be out working, or the idea that girls should play with dolls and boys should play with trucks. Children learn these stereotypes from all sorts of places, including books. They can be very damaging because they limit behaviors that are acceptable for boys or girls, based on their gender. Let's look at how children's books enforce these ideas. It turns out females are drastically underrepresented in children's books. Sandra Bem found that males actually outnumber females 10 to 1. This gives children the impression that boys are more important than girls. Here we see a group of kids, all boys, playing baseball. In this next illustration, we see a group of kids hanging out on a playground, but there are 6 boys and only 2 girls. Here we see a cowboy scene with 8 men and only 2 women, one of whom is serving food to the men. Where have all the girls gone? Another common theme that we see in children's books is that female characters often stay in the house and do domestic activities, where male characters are often seen outside being active and having adventures. In this first picture on the left, we see a little girl with a doll and her big brother, who has just gotten a baseball glove in the mail. The rest of the story is about the boy and his all-male friends playing baseball. In the next 3 illustrations, we see a boy who has just come home from playing baseball and finds his family gone. He looks in the kitchen for his mother, where he says she should be cooking dinner. He looks for his father in the living room, where he says he should be watching TV. And he looks for his sister, and he says she should be on the phone. Think about the messages children get from that. Another theme we often see, especially in fairy tales, is that for females, only beauty matters. In this illustration, at the top, we see a wicked stepmother queen who insisted the king send his children away when they were young. Now his daughter has come back, but the queen sees her before the king does, and she is beautiful. So the queen tangles her hair and stains her skin. When the king sees her, he is repulsed and sends her away. This is telling young girls that if you're not beautiful, you won't be accepted and people won't like you. And in fact, the only way you will be accepted and appreciated is for beauty, not for other reasons. In some children's books, and especially fairy tales, we often find female characters who are dense and easily tricked, or female characters who are wicked. In this first illustration, we see a mother pig letting the babysitter into the house, and the babysitter happens to be a hungry wolf. The mother pig doesn't notice this and thinks nothing of it. In this illustration, we see the classic tale of Little Red Riding Hood, who at first is also unable to tell the difference between a wolf and her grandmother. Here we see an illustration from Snow White in which Snow White takes an apple from a stranger who also happens to be a witch. Here we see Rapunzel. When her wicked captor climbs up on her hair, she is dense enough to say, "My, you're much heavier than the prince when he climbs up." She is then banished. And last in this category, we see the classic wicked witch from Hansel and Gretel. According to these, all women either seem to be stupid or evil. Another common theme in children's books, and especially fairy tales, is that male characters often make decisions for female characters. In this illustration, from The Princess and the Pea, the princess has just gotten out of bed and proclaimed that she couldn't sleep because there was a pea underneath her mattress, the test of a true princess. Upon learning this, the prince announces that he will marry her, and a page or 2 later we hear that she happens to be okay with this. It seems like he is making the decision for both of them, though. In this last illustration from Sleeping Beauty, the prince has walked into a castle where a beautiful girl who he has never met is sleeping, and he kisses her. This is not something you can do in real life. The girl in question should be conscious. If I woke up in the middle of the night to a stranger kissing me, it would be a big problem. But fairy tales tell us that this type of behavior is okay, and even admirable. It's important to make children aware of the fact that these are just stereotypes. In real life, girls are just as important as boys, and girls should make their own decisions just as boys do. Let them know that they're in charge of their own behavior, and if a girl plays sports and a boy plays with dolls, then that's okay. Let them know that they have the freedom to do what they want, not what strict gender roles dictate.